So thanks you guys for joining me tonight on the discussion, learning about the development of our personal authority with the assistance of a Tz'i during this Trecena of Tz'i, which begins today. Our power of personal authority, our power of personal choice making is really highlighted. Tzi means something basically like law, the law. In the Mayan language, tzi means the law, and it means authority. And what we're talking about here is natural law and the authority of natural law. So we're not talking so much about the laws of man. Although on Tzi days, we like to give thanks for our lawyers and our counselors, and going to court and settling legal issues is always great on a Tzi day. Um, the energy of Tzi is also really related to our friendships. The dog is the Nawal for Tzi, and dog is man's best friend. Even though we sometimes don't even treat our dogs great, the dogs are there loyal to us. And this really highlights the importance of the very best friends that we have, the true counselors in our lives, the ones who really do give us not just advice, but the space to find our own truth, our own authority. The great guides are the ones who help me embrace my own authority. And I hope to be a good guide to help you embrace your authority. That's partly why I'm doing this, because I think we all need to become more aware of our personal authority as a power. It's one that I see under attack a lot. And so I wanted to first talk about this a little bit. See, and our personal authority is just that. It's authority over our person, over our thinking, over our actions, over our emotions. Our power of criticism, of judgment, and of discernment applies only to ourselves. When we're thinking critically about what we're doing, when we're asking for assistance from our very best counseling friends, we're looking for critical advice on how to live our lives. We want to do that in alignment with ourselves. Authority is not taking on someone else's authority. I'm not offering you my authority. I am inviting you to embrace your own authority, grow your own authority, develop your own authority. And that's the authority, well, of this Trecena, which kind of lines out how do we do that? Well, the next 13 days help us develop our authority. Um, Authority is really undermined by criticism of others and from others. Listening to other people's criticisms and judgments and worrying about what other people think about us erodes our personal sovereignty. We want to feel good about our personal sovereignty, and that takes work. That takes work on our part to acknowledge that there is no one else in our life who is going to truly have any power of judgment over us. In fact, the power of judgment is only for us and for us only. We are only meant to judge ourselves. There is no God waiting to judge us. In Mayan spirituality, there is no judgment day. It is not up to Mashimon or Ishmukane or heaven and earth what we did with our lives. That's up to us. As well, what other people are doing in their lives is none of our business. Perhaps our children, we have a role in forming their authority, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But really, the business of personal authority is personal. And that's really what I want to kind of Think about how often we give away our authority to others, worrying about what they'll think about us. And so we buy things or do things or make choices based on what other people might think about us. We we give away our power when we listen to what people are judging us, when we listen or we participate in gossiping and talking about other people. These are toxic to our authority. So I, at one point, really made a conscious decision for myself to not talk about other people if I didn't have something nice to say, and to really stop criticizing and judging. I kind of went on a diet of not criticizing and judging myself. But I really went on a diet of not judging others, not wasting my time, and not wasting my time listening to those judgments in my head. The super ego saying, "Oh, you should do this and that," and really going, okay, that's not me. So I began to take authority over my mind. All in all, what I'm telling you is that this time is really for us to develop our personal power and authority. And so let's I want to start by acknowledging the ones who gave us our authority. Zakol and Bitol, the creator and maker, the ones who designed us, the ancestors who engendered us, Alom and Kahalom, and Tepeo, the great vast wet darkness, and Kukamats, the feathered serpent, Ishmukane, the grandmother, weaver, midwife, and Ishbiakok, her husband. These couples are the ones who gave us and gifted us this power of choice and authority. They planted this in us, and they call it a Hao Tz'i. So on one Tz'i, we're taking responsibility for this gift that they've given us, this power of choice. Our power of personal choice is one Tz'i. It's just a power. We can choose good, we can choose bad, we can choose what's good for us, we can choose anything. In the beginning, all choices are available to us, and that's sort of where one T is. When we are given our authority, all possibilities are open. We have all choices that we could make. And in an ever expanding world of choice making, wow, we have a lot of things competing for our personal attention and authority now with technology and like what's coming at us. So I really invite you to take this time, this first day, to reconnect with your own authority, your own self-sovereignty, because this is one of the most distinctive qualities that makes us human. We make choices all the time, consciously and unconsciously. So this is a great time to get conscious about our choice making. And we develop our personal authority through really analyzing and thinking and about putting more energy into this. So today we can ask ourselves, like, am I acting and am I thinking and speaking what is best for me? Am I speaking my truth? Am I in touch with that? Am I living free of criticism and judgments from others? Do I seek the assistance of people who I truly trust, who I know are there to assist me in finding my way? Do I bully others or criticize in order to get my way? These are the kind of questions we can be asking today, sort of as a fresh way of coming at where am I with my own personal self-sovereignty? So I kind of give you those as starters for you for this Trecena to begin to reflect on. On the second day, two bats really gives us pure love. Bats is pure love. And it gives us our parents, our divine parents, the parents who created us, our mother and our father. We have divine mother, we have divine father, we have our physical mother, we have our physical father. Two bats is also talking about our ancestral or historic parents, our grandparents. Also add to our development. Our parents are the first ones who teach us authority. Yes, no, clean up your room, pick up your things. You say yes, you say please, you say thank you. Um, our parents are the ones who first mold and model, the authority. They are the authorities because they are the authorities in their home. And you, as parents with children, you are authorities in your home for your children. So the first authority figures we receive are that divine couple, our own parents. And that's found in two bats. Bats is also the ancestral storyteller. And the ancestral stories are full of stories and teachings about how authority is built. The Popol Vuh creation story gives us lots of stories about how we develop personal authority. The stories of the hero twins are about how they develop their own. So on the Two Bots Day tomorrow, we can ask ourselves about the stories we tell about ourselves or our parents. Do those stories build up our personal authority? Do they undermine it? What are the stories that we tell about ourselves? What's the story I'm telling about myself? What is the story I want to tell about myself? The story I want to tell about myself is, folks, I'm so excited to share this with you because I have my own personal authority. And I got that through this system, through working with these different energies, through embracing my own inner parents, my own inner divine parents, and finding that through this system. I have my own parental authority. That's tremendously, tremendously beneficial to me. And I know it's also available for all of you. And that kind of depends on examining the story. My parents were who they were, with their faults, their good parts, their bad parts. But they were perfect for me because I learned from them what they needed to teach me. And I also learned what they didn't teach me. And part of that's just this stuff. So my parents didn't really teach me about spirituality. On 3A, 3A gives us a path so we can go out and go into the world and find our own way. And that's a great thing to do on 3A, on any A day, is to go for a walk and just go and just find your own way. Don't have a destination. Go from this point of, what does my authority say? What does my inner voice say? Where am I going to go? 3A invites us to really tune into our personal path and our authority in our own personal path in life. None of us are really meant to be followers. Might say, oh, well, the sheep are, but I really don't think that's true. I just don't think all of us have been turned on to our own path. So it's crucial to our own authority that we follow our own path, that we're not following the recipe that, maybe the well-meaning dad and mom wanted us to be a lawyer, but we're really meant to be a childcare worker. I mean, we got to do what is our path, what is for us. And so that's what 3A is adding to us right off the bat. We're getting a personal path and finding that when we go out into life and find our own way. When we really begin to focus on our path and really embrace our path, we can really make good choices and express our power of personal authority in alignment with that. If I don't know what my path is in life, how am I going to choose? And who am I going to ask to help me along the way? So this is a critical element to personal authority. The development of our personal authority depends on our ability to find our way. 4 Ach is Ach, our sacred space, our home space. The 4 is a really special number because it represents the 4 pillars, the 4 corners, the 4 elemental and 4 cardinal points that really ground our home. And it ground us personally. the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, earth, air, fire, and water, which make our home. Having authority over our personal space. Also, an incredibly powerful and important authority to express, to learn. I have a personal space. You have a personal space. Let's all focus on on the authority that we have over our own energy. For me, this means working with my energy body, my energy work, doing my exercises that ground me, doing my energy work in my aura. So I cleanse my aura of other people's energies, that I'm grounding those energies, because this is allowing me to be safe and at home wherever I go. The energetic space that we all hold is a really important one, and I've talked about it before. And well, it's because every 20 days, comes around to remind me about this. So now during the Trecena of Tz'i, when authority is the process that we're working on developing, the gift of 4 is the gift of the authority of the 4 directions, the 4 wisdom paths. That really gives a lot of strength and stability to our home. So we can ask ourselves about the authority we feel in our own home. Do you feel authority in your own home? Do you feel safe and secure where you are? Do you feel safe when you are not at home? These are important questions that we always need to be asking ourselves, that we can be teaching our children from the time that they are little. We have the power to choose not only our physical home, but the energetic spiritual home that we inhabit. And I've really enjoyed over the last 2 Tresenas working with my own aura and my own energy body a lot. And I found that this really helps move through these powerful energy shifts that I think I'm going to get blown over by. That I think, but really grounding and being safe in my space and not letting other people clutter up my energy space, boy, this really helps me have more authority in my life. So that's what I want to express to you, is the authority that you have over your own home, your own space, your own personal space. If you're not familiar with this work, and even if you are, go back to this, because this breeds and feeds our own personal authority. 5 Ish, the divine feminine day. Ish, the divine feminine, remember, is really devoid of judgments. Mother Earth teaches us not to judge ourselves, to express ourselves, not to live by the rules of others, but to live by her laws. The laws of nature are really perfect ones to live by. So on the 5th day of this Trecena, we're getting the laws of nature provided for us. They are accessible to us through the divine feminine. We can access those laws when we are feeling, touching, breathing, living, being in nature, drawing nature energy into us and learning her secrets, her magic, connecting also with her unconditional love and nurturing for our own development of our own personal power and authority. Work with this energy on 5 Ish. Recognize divine feminine and her unconditional love and nurturing, and truly non-judgment about what we are creating with ourselves. This is a pretty amazing partner in the development of our personal authority that is pretty juicy. The jaguar, who is the Nawal of Ish and queen of the jungle, she shows us how to dominate our own power. in order to dominate the world around us. She shows us how to dominate her energy, to control and hold this ferocious energy so that she can be so quiet that an animal, an antelope or a deer doesn't know she's there and she can attack and kill that animal. It's a pretty magnificent power that she's able to shrink down because she runs, she roams, she's really a dominant factor, force in the jungle, in the forest. So she's showing us how to dominate our own inner self. Seven Tz'ikin brings inner vision, the power of inner vision to the development of our authority. Vision, you'll remember, folks, is not looking from the outside in. Vision is seeing from the inside out. It is seeing the world as we see the world. What is our vision of the world that we are living, that we are creating? Remember, we are co-creators. So getting in touch with your inner vision on Tz'ikin will definitely help motivate and nourish your authority. It's another critical element to authority. If I don't have my own inner vision, I'm susceptible to yours and hers and his and theirs. They have a vision for me already. It's called religion. I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. And I'm not interested in for you or anyone else. And I'm not speaking badly of anyone's religion. What I am saying is that we all have a unique vision in life. And we make choices based on that vision. And my choices are in alignment with my vision, and yours are in alignment with yours. And the eagle asks us to lift up our vision also and have a bit of a global vision, not just thinking about myself, but seeing a vision over the whole picture here. We need to be in touch with our own vision and really connect with this. And this is the gift of Tz'ikin, and we can work with Tz'ikin to develop our vision. We can work with eagles and bird totems of all kinds to work with the vision to enhance our authority. Seven Achmak brings us to the midpoint of the Trecena of Tz'i, which is always kind of a critical element. And this is where we get a healthy dose of personal experimentation. Achmak is our curiosity seeker. It's our wanderer. It's our one who wants to figure things out. It's the one who makes mistakes. It's the one who lines up illusions that we move through, problems and situations that we move through. The mistakes, as much as the successes, are part of the learning experience, and Achmak is the learner. Achmak is the corrector. Achmak is the forgiver. And so this is all the fertile territory of developing personal authority because we get to experiment. Yeah. We also get to forgive our experiments. Yeah. And hopefully, Mother Earth and our higher vision have given us some concepts that we're not just going to be experimenting for selfish needs and just wanting to feel good all by ourselves. When we get to 8 Noh, we get to an incredible, powerful strength. The 8 days are always strong days. They're always really powerful warrior energy days. They're plowing through days. And on 8 Noh, we get 8 great minds. We get the 8 minds of the original grandparents, the original people. We get the minds of Balam Kitse and Kakapaluna, the guardians of the minds of the sun, of the fire, of the energy, the intelligence of fire and energy. We get the intelligence of the great minds of Balamakab and Chomiha, who are the guardians of earthly intelligence, of the intelligence of darkness and everything that is underneath us, all that is contained within the earth. We get the intelligent minds of Mahankuta and Sununicha, who are guardians of the emotional intelligence and the intelligence of water. We get the great minds Ikbalam and Kak Ishiha, who are the guardians of the intelligence of the wind and of the breath. Those are those original great grandparents who bequeath us their intelligence. They are the first teachers, the first teachers of the first teachers, and those eight represent all of the great knowledge and intelligence of the ancestors. Noch is intelligence. Noch is the mind. This is the full power of the mind. Those eight great minds come to us on this day during this Trecena to offer their intelligence and their authority over those intelligences to us. Yeah, they are the ancestral authorities. The ancestral authorities are these eight grandparents. That's the gift of eight Noh. On 9 Tihash, we get that obsidian knife, which is really helpful for cutting away that which is not for us, that which does not correspond to us, that which is the mental clutter that doesn't belong to us, the emotional patterning that perhaps we inherited from our family that doesn't belong to us. It's the tool that we get to use to cut away everything that is not us. This is a tremendous authority, folks. This is a tremendous power that we have to cut away everything around us that is blocking us, that is holding us back. We can use the energy, the medicine, the same medicine of the four grandparent couples as the medicine of Tihash. But there's also something, I think, beautiful about the nine, which again is referring to divine feminine. And so I think there's a kindness and a gentleness and a knowingness in using this knife so that we don't cut away things or people who might hurt us if we cut them away. We can cut away energy, we can cut away things, we can cut away thoughts, we can cut away feelings. Tihash is a pretty important, powerful tool for cutting away, and 9 Tihash is reminding us to use a great deal of prudence in using this tool, this tool which really refines our authority. On 10 Kawuk, we add the power of the collective mindset to our development of personal authority, and this has a couple of interesting effects. The social mindset often is problematic for our development of our personal authority, especially where conformity to social norms or family standards, where that is very strict, it can be very difficult to conform to family who are not accepting to us. So we sometimes learn to develop, we do learn to develop our own sense of personal authority from our family who do not embrace us. Getting the family is not just there to embrace our personal authority, they're actually there to help teach us that. It's a tough one. I mean, I find personally that I still walk very, very gently in that field because it isn't everything that I've inherited from my family that feels good or right to me. Like alcohol use, for example, it's a kind of a given in my family, but for me, that really robs my authority. I think it robs their authority too. But that's my personal choice. And it's not up to me to choose for them. It's up for me to choose for me. So this again, this teacher, the family are teachers for our own personal authority. They're big teachers. And they come later in the Trecena because this is something that needed some of this other development first to get to. The 10 of Kawok kind of also adds an ancestral aspect or the completion of cycles of time aspect to this community. So perhaps it draws not only the earth community energy, but also our ancestral community to us. And that ancestral community, I believe, is very, very helpful to us in embracing our personal authority. Because the ancestors want us to embrace our personal authority. That's why they gave us personal authority. So the 10 of Kawok kind of balances for me this, Kawok doesn't feel like I'm going to be getting my personal authority. Well, I am because I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn my own personal authority because my family's going to teach me some things about authority, but they're also going to not teach me everything about my personal authority. I'm going to learn some of that on my own. And probably all of us at some point have to establish some authority with our own family members to respect ourselves and be respected and to respect them. And that respect is, wow, such an ancestral value. And so that kind of brings a nice balance to Ten Kawok at this step, at this stage in the adding of authority to us. Um, the community of support, if we were all working from a perspective of truly embracing our individual paths and embracing our individual uniquenesses and embracing our unique and individual personal power, we would live in a much different world. And the Tenka walk actually speaks to something which could be actually quite beautiful if our families and our family structures also embraced difference and uniqueness and the importance of personal authority. It's kind of a tough one because the parents and the grandparents are teaching authority by being authorities. So Um, I'm just acknowledging that the ancestral authority brings to Kawok this real beautiful concept of supporting each other in honoring ourselves. Because that actually is what I feel is true spiritual community. I feel in community with you folks who are here right now, because you support me being myself, and I support you being yourself. And I really do honor your authority, and I know you honor mine. I think this is a Tenka walk is a great day to acknowledge those communities in who really support our personal authority. If we have a small community of people who support us in this way, and I'm grateful I do, because I didn't always. Wow, this is candles on the altar or a fire ceremony for giving thanks for that, because that does help my authority building. On 11 Achpu, the ancestors bless us. Ancestor De Achpu, the ancestors bless us like the sunlight blesses us with power, courage, strength, personal conviction, all incredibly powerful nutrition. Nutrition for all of this development of authority that we've been getting. We're getting a big sun bath. Sun's energy is just, so we're soaking it up. We're also getting ancestral energy in that Ahpude, and we're soaking that up and we're growing our authority because The ancestors really do support us in doing this work. 12 emosh, almost to the end of the Trecena. We now get to add emotional and sensory intelligence to our development of authority. Authority with the emotions is, for me, I think for many of us, the most difficult authority to practice. We can practice our fire work and our work with the fire ceremony and our work with the authority of the fire, and we can work with our minds and we can work with our bodies, but a lot of us have real struggles with having authority over our emotions, and that requires working out emotional traumas, getting beyond the triggers of our emotions and going beneath our anger to really see what's there. 12 emotion represents emotional maturity. And so this is a powerful energy to receive on this 12th day of the development of our personal authority. We get a strong dose of sensitivity. I think we tend to kind of squelch the sensitivity a lot. I think a lot of us feel squelched from the time we're children. Very few of us come through with really nurturing parents who really helped us develop our emotional sense so that not only can we be in touch with the messages we're receiving, that we're sensitive to ourselves, because ultimately this is our authority, is to be sensitive to ourselves, to feel, what am I feeling? Oh my gosh, I'm angry. I don't want to be angry. Well, you're angry. You got to kind of deal with that today, bud. Because in order to have authority in my life, I need to deal with my emotions. I can't just leave them in a bag. And it's not just for like a visit to a psychological counselor when I can do that. I got to really pay attention to this. It's a gift. The ancestors gave me 12 emosh to develop my emotional authority. So it requires work. And to the point of actually being able to work my emotions so that I feel gratitude when I don't feel grateful, when I'm struggling, when I need to get someplace, I can work with my emotions, and you can too. We often have to play act our way through life. I think some of you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we really do have to put on a feeling in order to get through, and that really serves us. But I'm not talking about putting on emotions to cover up feelings. I'm talking about really having emotional intelligence and being able to work with and feel and receive the messages, as also being able to put out energy. Because putting out love and putting out gratitude and putting out appreciation, you guys know that actually is powerful stuff. It does something. And that can also be part of our authority. What's the emotional effect that I create in others? Do I make people afraid of me, or do I make people curious? This is part of our emotional intelligence as well, our emotional authority. 13 Ik is the culmination of the Trecena of Tz'i, and peace of mind and tranquility of heart are really what this is about. The breath of life, this deep, calm breath, this profound, slow, deep breathing, which brings us tranquility, which I've talked about before. It really inspires us. I feel that it inspires my access to the ancestral intelligence. I definitely can connect with them in journeying and in fire ceremony by really working with my breath to be really calm. It really slows down my brainwave states, and I can really access their authority. Accessing the ancestral authority is found in the power of the breath, in the breath of life. And it actually happens to be pretty interesting, folks, because this 13 Ik This Oshla is a special one. It's a big one. It's a powerful one because this 13 ik is going to set the tone for the next 365 days. Because on February 18th, the solar agricultural calendar, the astrological calendar that the Maya also have, is going to change, and we're going to receive a new year bearer. And the new year bearer is 13 ik. The 13th day of this Trecena is the new year. Roll all that snake year energy right into this. Yeah, the snake energy is right into ik. Because ik is Kukamat's, ik is the feathered serpent. Ik is the love, the peace, the earth wisdom that comes from that peace, that Kukamat's Quetzalcoatl is in this day. Breathe into it. Sing it. Find your voice. The voice of Kukamat's is in you. I'm absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that the next year is bringing all of our voices, whether we know who Kukamat's is or not. The voice of this wisdom, of this earth wisdom, of this simple wisdom of the breath, which is really quite powerful, but we really are not celebrating this, folks, like we could be. And we are going to be receiving this energy. This is going to be the year bearer, El Cargador, of the year, I think it's 5141. I can't remember. And that's the solar year. That's the solar agricultural year. And that's 365 days. That's 18 months of 20 days. Yeah. It's a whole nother little calendar we can work with. Maybe someday we'll play with that one because there's some stuff we could play with because it's all earth and astrologically based. But for now, I'll just leave you with the great hope for 13 Ik, for the culmination of this process of embracing your personal authority really has probably some far-ranging effects that none of us really realize. But the creators have really lined this up for us, so have fun, and I really do encourage you to sing and find your voice during this time. The gift of our voice is the gift of 13 Ik. So at the end of the Trecena, we're actually being given the power of our own voice. Yeah. So blessings to you folks, and happy Trecena. Do you have any questions? Andrea, Paul, do you have any comments?
That was really great.
That was
I
great.
mean, this is exciting.
It just really complements how I'm feeling. And I was telling Andrea how uh honest, how close the system is, because it's like right there. And uh I like it a lot. I do.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's really a gift. I feel exactly the way you do. Maybe not exactly, but I
Yeah,
share your feeling. It's like, wow, I like how this is working. It's incredibly in sync.
yeah, it's true.
What's going on? We're
Yeah.
living, we're living it.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about nine Tia.
Yes,
So
90 hash.
Tihash, you talked about it being a knife or something. Is that
Yes.
is that the
Yes.
narwhal or what is the
Okay,
bat?
so Tihash is our power of healing. It's our power to cure ourselves. We can heal our own bodies. Our bodies do it. They have an intelligence that that heals itself. We also have an authority to heal ourselves. And what Tihash is doing is bringing us clarity, because that's really what we're talking about with Tihash here. How we use the knife depends on clarity.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But clarity itself is the knife.
Right. Okay.
When you're
So,
clear about who you are, when you're clear about your path, your purpose, when you're clear about this growing authority, now that you have this knife, this blade of clarity, then you can begin to cut away that which is not you. This is what we're talking about here. It's discernment. Discernment and clarity are gifts of Tihash. Tihash is the doctor, the medicine, but it's also, and it is literally obsidian. Obsidian is, this is a little piece of obsidian I carry with me to deflect and cut away negative energy wherever I am, or any energy that's just not mine. When I'm out in public, especially, I'll just put that in my pocket because I'm working with that and know that and cleanse that to cut away things that I don't necessarily need to see it, but it just go away from me. I can also do it intentionally. I can work with Tihash to say, Tihash, I recognize that I used to blame others for things, but I recognize now that I don't need that program anymore. That's not me. So I'm asking you to cut that away from my mind. Don't let me think about blaming. I don't need to blame. I don't need to feel the blame around my heart. You see, I use the stone energetically to cleanse, and that's what you can do also. It's a highly high energy stone. This is, you know, higher frequency energy than diamond or any other stone. It's a high energy stone, so it's very good at cutting away. That's why the shaman and medicine people, why we use this is because it really does cut away negative energy. Whether it's made into a knife or not, the knife is symbolic. The truth of it is the clarity and discernment that come with the cutting away. Does that help you more
yeah,
specific?
absolutely. I was just trying to figure, I mean,
Yeah.
I figured it was an analogy, but you also used it
Yes.
specifically, so
Yeah,
that helped.
that was
Yeah,
It's
excellent.
both. Yeah. So
both.
you can think about it, but we can also, I invite you to make friends with Obsidian. I mean, it really is a helper tool, and we can use this energetically, and if we used it on someone else, we could do that, and we could wash it afterwards so that we keep our tool clean. But it's used by people who use mineral and crystal medicine for drawing away negative energies. And remember, negative, folks, is not bad. It really is that which does not belong to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That which is,
agreed.
yeah,
Yeah, we get that.
you got that.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's, again, we're not putting those judgments on it. Yeah, that's that judgment thing, folks. If we could, I can also invite you to go on the judgment diet this 13 days. If you want to honor your own personal authority, just go on the judgment diet and just notice when you're
Mhm.
judging yourself, don't do anything about it. Just let your own higher authority take care of it. Your own higher authority will take care of it because you're noticing it is enough. It's really detrimental. It really is. And I really have benefited a tremendous amount for cutting it out. It's none of my business what other people think about me. Boy, that was a hard one to learn. How Tz'i really was the teacher. And I had to have some tough Tz'i teachers who were Tz'i people who were tough, who
Mhm.
were dictatorial and authoritarian, or who were passive and totally non-aggressive. You know, in between those is the happy balance. Finding your own authority prevents you from needing to even think about how other people are affecting your authority. I don't worry about that anymore. I mean, I'm also being respectful of others and respecting the ancestral authority, right? And I'm respecting the whole and that vision authority also. So there's a whole complex here of tools, of days, and now you'll get to feel them move through you. And I have some nice notes that I'll send out for you guys along with the recording for those of you who couldn't make it.
No, this
Thank
was
you.
good.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much.
Blake.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Be well.
Be well. See you again in the new year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Take care.
Take care.